So, welcome back to our Greater Maldrood playthrough in Imperial Civil War 2.2, a preview edition from about November. I've done a few things differently since the last episode. First off, this is being streamed live on our Saturday live stream. But in addition to that, I have a new version of OBS set up and a new microphone. So theoretically this should mean everything should go better, but as usual with new software, anything can go wrong, or new hardware. So if there are any little issues, apologies in advance. I will hopefully get them set up as I get more used to this setup or figure out different settings that work better with this setup. But hopefully everything should go smoothly. So in the last few episodes we have managed to take over the majority of the Hapes cluster. We've got our double belleters. I think one is up here, one's up here, and we've started making our way into the core a bit more. So I think what we're going to try to do is try to take over the rest of this area here. We'll probably end up leaving this fleet parked over Graven, and we'll end up trying to take Carida, Borleas, and Coruscant, and the Imperial Remnant is here, but they have a lot of stuff, so it won't be until a bit later that we actually go to them. But with that said, we're just going to get straight back into it here and defend against an attack. So there were a few other different things that I've done that have made progress in the mod. Codier's been working as well, as has Lorny and Smallpox on Imperial Civil War, and then everyone else has been working on Ascendancy. Bane's been doing a lot of work there alongside myself. Robin and Sleverd and Enkar are still working on some art assets. But essentially what I've been working on... Oh, this is not what I wanted to see. But I've still been trying to go through and fix this stuff, where the planet backgrounds, some of them were removed. But we've made some AI changes, primarily that you shouldn't have the issue where stuff like jumps through random paths. And the other thing is that the AI shouldn't do the weird attack loops anymore. Well, they'll send one really small fleet, and then another really small fleet, and then another really small fleet, and then another really small fleet. But yeah, as far as these backgrounds go, I'm still trying to pick my way through the maps and make sure everything has the newer sky domes. That's essentially what it was. I deleted all the older crappy ones, and now there are a few maps that are just missing textures because of that. But as I go through and test all the maps, that'll go away. Might just leave it like this. I do like the petroglyph logo. Nice little lizard. It's a good way to start the live stream, though. I've also been working on some ground balancing stuff, so changing the way... right now, it's just focusing primarily on vehicles, and then later on, we're going to be doing a really significant rework of infantry. So right now, your missiles, so from LATs, from Plex Troopers, from anything like that, the IFTX, they do a significant amount more damage to structures and vehicles. They don't do much to infantry, and they have extremely large recharge times. So a large company of Plex Troopers, so rocket launcher soldiers, will be able to take down pretty large vehicles pretty quickly, but they're not very well defended against any anti-infantry stuff. They don't deal well with large amounts of enemy vehicles, and their recharge rates are really high, so you have to micro them a bit more. 34. We've lost something. Just gonna jump a victory in here. That problem has been fixed, Atrium. There were some ships that had class tags that aren't allowed to fire at units because we were trying to do stuff with what the AI wanted to build, and changing those tags does affect that. But some of the tags, which we forgot, changing them do prevent you from being able to actually shoot at ships. There's like anti-module stuff, but yeah, all that stuff's being fixed. That VSD is screwed. I didn't really think they'd have another Allegiance coming in there. Also, anything with the Super Star Destroyer armor and shield class, so Bellator's, Executor, Sovereign, Eclipse, even Allegiance and Praetor, they're going to be extremely vulnerable to bomber fire, more so than any other ship class. That's weird. Oh well. Is there anything we would add to the game if the engine supported it? A lot of stuff, really. But some of that stuff we're actually going to be doing because it turns out the engine does support it in some really weird ways. But if you could have timed during a battle bringing in reinforcements from other planets, or a better way to tie to send like fighters back into their docks without it just essentially being a free heal for everything, that would be nice. You just got to kill the last of their actual ships before those fighters kill our Tector. Where is there? Oh no. Hey there, Evan. Right. Well, we've got an IPV there now, but we did lose the Tector. I think we lost a Tector, a VST, and probably something else. The background was just distracting me. I'd also honestly change the ground battles to NGC to more reflect skirmish mode, but that's more of an AI issue than really what's possible in the game engine. Because you can make a lot of those changes, the AI just wouldn't recognize it. I honestly have no idea to... Well, Clay, that's actually an old model for it, so it will be in 2.2, but it'll actually have a much better model. But, yeah, Clay, I don't really follow too much with Battlefront, the newer ones. I haven't even played the new one. Would you like to add any more Fractal Sponge ships in the future? There's one or two that we plan to add, but we're sticking to the ones that were actually implemented in canon. So the ones that he's designed that haven't been in something like Essential Guide to Warfare or anything like that, we're probably not using, unless we really need something for a role, but that's rarely the case. We get to come back to the land of empty sky domes. One of the other things I did between the last few episodes is move this to its own separate folder, so it's just easier for me to work on the newer build without going back and forth between versions in our Git. But I'm hoping that didn't mean I missed a file or 2 or 7. We're not going to have many fighters to deal with. Problem is just going to be all these allegiances getting around to the... Nope, you don't need to be here.
Ready for orders. Target the lasers. Bombers at the ready. Those laser banks are the primary target. Star Destroyer reporting in. Yes.
Bowder's just taking forever to get through them. Alright. We're going to end up losing pretty much every ship that's not the Bellator for this.
Move out.
How early can the Rider Authority build an SSD or the Night Hammer? Right away.
We shall be there shortly. Right away. Ready to receive orders.
It'll probably be Era 2 or 3. No, Era 2 before they can actually start building the Night Hammer specifically, but they can start building Executors whenever they want.
Our target priority is the laser cannons.
What, you don't think this this giant lizard is beautiful, Dantius?
Awaiting your command. The lasers are our target.
Well, we had Titan.
Our
Huh?
target priority is the laser cannons. Moving out.
You know, if you spin, it's going to be harder for you to kill that. You realize that, Bellator, right?
Fall out. Let's move out. Let's go.
There. I'll just get it to turn around the other way. Well, if the Bellator dies, I'm blaming the Bellator. It's its own fault.
Attack that target. Keep
Just
going.
get in range.
This way.
Oh my god. Can you comment on how the torpedo sphere will work for the Rider Authority? It'll be essentially be like a larger
Fire at will.
long-range broadside. So a siege platform sort of deal.
Your command, sir.
There we go. Finally starting to get in range at least. Will Typhara be able to build a back to center to increase the health of infantry? It won't be able to increase the health of infantry, no.
The lasers are our target. Our target priority is the laser cannons. The lasers are our target. Our target priority is the laser cannons.
No, stop it.
Commander.
Stop it. Just shoot.
Keep your eyes open.
The thing with stuff like assault, like we already have a ton of different fighter types.
Over there.
So really, assault gunboats and stuff like that just never made the cut for what we thought would be the best fighters for factions, because they would essentially just be fighters.
Our target priority is the laser cannons.
Alright, we may not actually end up losing the Bellator here. So that'll be like 2 close calls with the Bellator so far. But that is closer than I wanted it to be. We did lose pretty much everything else so far with this fleet, though.
The lasers are our target.
I might have to just pull back this fleet,
The laser cannons.
because we're probably not going to be able to take Graven itself for a while. And they seem insistent on having it. Let's get some intel. We're still building everything everywhere. Where is Gatels? So, let's get some ISD2s there. Then send it back over. We're going to be invading Emmer at some point, but not yet.
Setting course.
And of course, the changes I was talking about earlier, having made with ground stuff and pretty much anything else, it's not in the build that I'm currently using for this playthrough, because that would crash the save file. But will Cedrus get his own ships in Era 3? Probably not, because we'd prefer to have him just attached to flagship.
Star Destroyer reporting
I want that Star Destroyer
in. Destination.
over there. And I'm pretty sure the Remnant is not going to attack from there because they don't have ground units. They can't plan an actual invasion, and the AI doesn't like attacking unless they can actually plan the invasion.
Receiving orders. Heading out.
I would have thought of multiple era progressive galactic conquest. There's already 3, and there are probably going to be 4.
Order acknowledged.
See, like the path that this is taking right now. Actually, I guess that's not. Because the alternative was like meter to. So that actually makes sense. But the problem before was essentially that the game was at some point dividing by 0. So it ended up sending stuff around in weird ways. Roshi, let's get 2 allegiances there. But yeah, we already have Essence of War, we already have Art of War. Then there's going to be stuff like Endor Aftermath, which is going through both parts of Era 1. So there's a lot more split up stuff like that. We might eventually make something that progresses through Dala and Pelion, or maybe through Palpatine and Dala. But right now we're focusing, like we've already got like 25 GCs planned, and we want to get through the main necessary stuff before we really go too far down any other rabbit holes. Let's go with that. This is probably not enough. Someone can do the Jarek screamy voice for that. With the exception of this and its Sins of Solar Empire counterpart making any new mods in the future, I was thinking about doing some content packs from Stellaris and seeing how far that goes. But honestly, that community seems pretty hostile on modders from other games coming in and not like immediately joining other teams and starting their own mods instead. So I don't know if I'm going to bother with that. It just seems like a lot of hassle.
As you wish.
After Palpatine is defeated and you go to Dala, will she have Nighthammer, or will you have to defeat her out of authority first and start with Gorgon? We're not sure how much of the story progression like that we're going to work into the era progressive GCs, because that could end up really messing things up if it's if we do too much of it. Because like all this stuff to split up the Empire we're going to try to do, but as far as making, because you're essentially making the Remnant start from scratch at that point. So I don't know how far exactly we're going to go with that, but that'll be something we determine later on in testing, really. What we want to do, though, is we want to get some more units of every type. What's everyone's thoughts of Fractal Sponge's Victory Star Destroyer? It's alright. Honestly, I don't like it as much of as his other work. Like, it's still a great model, but as far as the VST itself goes, I just don't like it as much.
Unit in production.
Reporting in.
Don't units build faster if you have multiple of the same factory on a planet?
Construction complete.
Yeah, it does. They do build faster that way. That's why I want to build multiple factories on Charuba. I think I already have it set up like that on Charos. No. There was one planet that I think I have a bunch of heavy factories. But it's mostly mines everywhere, so it ends up choking it out. Yeah, we have a lot of light vehicle factories here. That's what it was. Yeah, that's Crusader. I think we have enough to try to take Karada now. I really wish I was playing with the new changes. It would be much less painful to do that.
Transmission received. Reporting in. Star Destroyer reporting in.
If it ends up being too much of a hassle killing all the buildings, I'm probably just going to auto-resolve. Because the point kind of is to show off the new changes, and if it's all like older stuff, that's not a valid way the game's going to work. Then I don't feel as bad about auto-resolving, because it does help us get faster to the newer stuff anyways.
Star
How many infantry do we have? Yeah, that's enough.
On my way, sir.
Let's give it a shot.
Brigade standing by. Brigade standing by.
Michael, I'm aware that the hero is here, but the thing is, he's already dead in the campaign, and that would essentially be cheating. Because we already had Larm. He's the one that came with Gatels from Antimeridius, but I got him killed, so I'm not gonna cheat.
Invasion commencing.
Yes, sir.
Choose your reinforcements.
Heading out. Destination set. Setting course.
At maximum unit capacity.
Alright, so we're just gonna send our lad out. We're gonna keep one here, but we're gonna send another one out
Lancet standing by.
to do some scouting.
Artillery reporting. Engines activated. Ready to go.
Some enemy troopers. Oh, we've also fixed the error that prisons were causing, where alien civilians weren't spawning and the only things you'd get were humans everywhere. That was something to do with the prisons, the prison script. Because essentially it was supposed to make it so that nothing spawned and then the prison script would reactivate it. But something was going wrong with reactivating it.
At the ready. Ready to receive orders.
So the human civilians were never cut off by that.
Squadron moving out.
But the all the alien civilians were. So stuff like Wookiees,
Awaiting orders.
Duros, Twi'leks.
Comlink active.
We're just gonna
Attacking.
pause and target.
Position.
Roger that. Lancet proceeding.
Moving to secondary position.
Firing.
Support order acknowledged.
Form up. Command received. Right away.
Really should have brought some ATAs. I intended to scout this out better, but I didn't.
I have the target in sight.
Unit destroyed.
Moving out. Lancet targeting. Providing covering fire. Heading for attack position. We'll clear the way for you.
Should probably just retreat and come back with AA.
Choose your reinforcements.
Actually, ATPTs are not too bad at destroying those.
Waiting orders. Fire.
Well, he does give combat bonuses.
Open fire. Attack the target. Laying some
Yeah, because everyone's been asking for it. I might build him, but
copy.
we already have him. Just because he is still an Antimeridian hero, and we're going with the theme of the Greater Antimeridian sector, so...
Destination ahead. Let's move out.
Oh, we got a commando.
Choose your reinforcements.
Inputting coordinates.
But, how would you like to see the Victory class in Rebels? I mean, I've never really had a problem with the Victory class, so... I think it'd be great to see it in Rebels if they start showing some larger ships when the Rebels start getting a bigger fleet themselves.
Let's go. Scanning area. Keep going. Report.
It'd be good to see like a new Dreadnought or something. Because actually one of my favorite redesigns by Fractal Sponge was that Dreadnought that he made. So if they did a canon reimagining of that, that would actually be pretty cool.
Engaging.
I don't know that they will, but
I have the target in sight. Target acquired.
that might just stay as an EU unit.
Lancet targeting. Enemy sighted. Engines activated. Heading for attack position. Receiving orders. Scouting. Attack. Providing cover.
There we go.
As you wish. Scouting area. Open fire. Enemy spotted. Squadron moving out. Let's go. Attack.
Oh crap.
Unit destroyed.
Attacking target.
Unit destroyed.
Fire at will.
Our AT-AT is still so far away. There we go.
Proceeding. Right away.
So what we're gonna actually have to do
Right away.
Let's park some of this stuff here. I'm actually going to get some T-16s for this. We'll leave the lats with our main force, and we'll just defend this bridge. We're actually... Have you reviewed the goal and positions on the maps? So one of the things that we're doing, there's going to be some different features in space maps, or in space battles, where we're going to have to go through and edit a lot of stuff about the maps. So I'm actually saving another pass for when that stuff's coded in, and then I'll be looking at starting forces positions, defending forces positions, defending structure positions, all that stuff.
Bombing run available.
Alright, they have a building there. I'm just going to look for the power generator. We can come take that out later. I feel like it's going to be up here. I feel like I'm wrong. I believe this is a vanilla. This is a vanilla map. Oh, here we go. So get out of there.
Commence attack run.
It's odd that they brought the Hammerhead into Disneyverse. Actually, I don't think it's that odd. KOTOR is getting pretty, like, that whole era is getting pretty popular, and it's a tie-in with the Old Republic game, sort of. And that's one of the few things that's still going on. So I figure if they intend to do more in that era, they want to have as much cross-promotion as they can get. So I think it would make sense from that perspective, so I wouldn't be surprised if you see, like, either a remastered for those games or more Tor expansions, maybe another game in that era. I'd love that. Maybe that's just wishful thinking, but... But as far as the space stuff that I just mentioned, we're going to be doing, so, like, the way you can have you have a percentage chance of getting a raid battle, we're going to be doing some other stuff like that, where, for example, you come into battle, your communications are cut off, and you can't bring in any reinforcements. So you have to go through the map and capture, like, comm relays, and that'll re-enable reinforcements and retreat for a little bit. Just to add some different variety to what you actually have to do in battles, so it's not the same, like, oh, I'm going to drop in all my units here. Just to make it so that you have to think a bit more about how you're attacking, or even if you do invade the same planet a bunch of times, you're going to get a slightly different experience, even if it's still the same general principles that you're following through with. But what we need to do first, we need some ground units, some infantry rather. I think we've killed most of their garrisons. But yeah, just stuff like that. We've got 3 or 4 of those planned, including raid battles. I might try to get at least one of them in for the demo, but it's going to be something that we're working on a bit more as we go. Okay, so we're going to try to get these guys up here. We'll send the AT-AT down there.
Yes, Commander. Heading out. This way.
Is the microphone getting crackly?
Cut through them. Armored transport ready. Walker moving to attack.
That is the plan to list garrisons better. Oh, there's still some units. But we're going to be reworking a lot of the garrison stuff, and then we'll probably do another pass on all the text, because we plan to do that with planets anyways. Okay, I didn't mean to send you up here. Okay, kill him. Now kill that. God damn it. That's why I haven't been using this microphone since I got it. Because it's crackly. Hold on.
Reporting in. Heading out.
After this battle, I'm going to take a second to just check that.
Reporting in. Heading up.
After this
Aerial artillery reporting. Roger that.
Is it really bad or is it just occasional?
Targeting at maximum firepower.
I'll have to review the video afterwards. Oh my god. I'm bad at clicking.
Ready for orders.
Since you've redone the precursor, is the dreadnought next on your chopping block? Yeah, that's my plan.
We've secured a landing zone. Choose your reinforcements.
Order acknowledged.
I really want to redo the Executor. I want to redo the Dreadnought. I still need to finish some of the precursor stuff.
Let's go.
So I'm not 100% done with that.
Awaiting your orders.
Some of the additional maps still need doing.
Copy. All out troops. On my way. I copy.
I think there's still a unit trapped in there.
Bombing run available. Unit destroyed.
Alright, still friendly fire.
Let's move out.
Oops.
Let's go. Reporting.
Send you back there.
Form up. Initiate attack run.
Yeah, all the SSDs have engines now.
Brigade standing by.
Oh, here we go. Get him.
Rolling
Don't let him get away.
Moving to position. Moving. Let's roll. On my way. We'll back you up.
Where could they be?
Moving out.
Oh, there's another airspeeder.
Yes, sir. Mauler ready. Roll out. Attack. We'll back you up.
I want to change the flight patterns of air units so they can actually shoot each other better. Without this weird dance going on. Should really be a lot easier for the T-16 if we give it a turret.
Yes, Commander. Keep going.
Because really is a turret on the other side. It's not really a fixed gun. Like the Ascendancy Executor is alright, but it's not quite to the same level as like the Belter or the ISTs. And we're trying to bring everything up to that level.
System control achieved.
Which means in the meantime there's going to be some inconsistency, but we're like, a lot of the models are up to 10 years old. So
Beginning construction.
that's just going to happen until we have a chance to go through and make sure everything's up to the same level.
Constructing.
Or like the new Hapen Battle Dragon, the Ton Falk that Robin made. And then as we get a lot of the older stuff or the existing stuff to where we want it to be, that leaves us more room to start adding all the stuff that people want and keep asking for. Because realistically, we want to get everything done before just keep on piling on the list of stuff to do. Because one of the big problems with just, oh, this unit exists, it should be in the mod, is whenever we want to rework a system, whenever we want to do stuff like damage particles, death clones, whenever we get better at modeling ourselves and want to bring everything back up to the same quality level, it becomes a lot more difficult to actually go through everything and to get that consistency. Like a mod with 2 factions is infinitely easier to do, or not infinitely, but several times easier to do than a mod that has, as far as that sort of thing goes, than a mod that has currently 8 playable factions plus like 4 non-playable factions.
Mauler ready.
Hey Corey, I was wondering about the planets in Thrawn's Revengeance. I noticed the new ones in Ride Authority Pixels. Can you say about the planets that you're adding? Honestly, there are dozens of them. that we're adding, and because they've all been sort of slowly added since, well, a lot of them were recent, but since 2.1 was 3 years ago, I honestly don't remember what's new and what's not in a lot of cases. But for the most part, the Warlord planets are all the new ones. So the ones related to the minor factions, to the Warlord factions, that sort of thing. And then there's some from the base game, like Mustafar and Felucia, that I don't believe were in previous versions, but are coming back. Like, Kitty, did you see my comment in the last Ascendancy video about the model scrubs with the... Well, that's essentially what I just commented on. Like, the Bellator, the ISDs, all that stuff is the newest content, and the stuff that looks the best. And essentially the goal is to bring everything up to that point. Like, we're not going to say, oh, the older stuff is shit, so we're going to keep the newer stuff being shit. No, the point is ultimately to try to get the newer stuff, to get all the older stuff redone to be the same level of quality as the newer stuff. Hey there, Connor.
The enemy is approaching.
I think this is just a lot of frigates, because the New Republic has, like, what, 5 planets left? Very few of which are capital or heavy frigate shipyards even. Okay, that's a lot of bombers.
Choose your reinforcements.
I guess the missiles
Reinforcements cancelled.
from the VSD. Let's get some fighters out there.
As good as gone. Order confirmed. Keep your eyes open.
Hopefully these fighters will be enough to take out these bombers. Do they have a... Yeah, they do have a second goal in, so we'll just drop in like that. Hey there, Bullet. Will the Hapes Consortium be playable in the main campaign? Will they get heroes except soldier? We'd love for the Hapes Consortium to be playable eventually. However, right now, a faction that essentially has 2 units wouldn't be very interesting. We are going to be expanding them for Ascendancy. Then after that point, when we have their roster fleshed out for that, we'll be able to backport that stuff into Imperial Civil War, and then we'll probably make them playable. But for now, they are just how they've been in the last few versions. They have the Nova, they have the Battlecruiser, or the Battle Dragon, both of which will be new models. But they won't be playable. I think after this, we get to go to Coruscant.
Direct all fire on the shield generator. Countering resistance. Star Destroyer standing by.
But as far as planets go, one of the other things that we're doing is we're going to be going back through and doing another pass on all the text for those. So hopefully the text for those should be a bit more helpful and complete. But that is 233 planets at the moment. So we're going to try to get everything done for the demo that's in the demo, and then we're going to work out from there. That's sort of why the demo is what it is, and why we're not doing like 3 GCs for it, because that basically triples the amount of work and means the mod is much closer to being done. And kind of the point of the demo is to allow us to do everything in a smaller sample size, get a feel for what's working, what's not, what direction we still need to take some stuff in, and then adjust from there. Rather than implementing everything into multiple GCs, we get to use the Hunt for Zsinj as sort of a test bed for that, and it gives everyone something to play with for now, while still giving us feedback that we can use to implement other changes.
Invasion commencing.
Does the Precursor have more firepower than the VSD? Probably more than the VSD-1. It's around the same as the VSD-2, maybe a little bit more, but essentially it's supposed to be in the same sort of role as the VSD-2, just without fighters. So it's got some extra stats on its own to sort of make up for that, I guess. But it's not
Order acknowledged.
it's not too far off.
On my way.
Maximum unit capacity.
Comlink active. Keep going. Just give me a target. Right away. Reporting in. Scouting. The enemy has been spotted. Roger that. Attacking.
Oh look, artillery.
Firing.
That's scary.
Form up. Support fire ready. This way.
All right, so
Choose your
I did that. So we need this. What we need to do. Oh god! Oh god! No! Don't kill us. We want to be friends.
Planted. Targeting. Heading for attack position.
Rebel tanks are so strong.
destroyed.
I'm gonna keep saying rebel tanks every episode. I think I've made that mistake like 5 times now.
Over there. Scanning area.
I mean, the VSD1 versus VSD2 sort of depends on how you look at it. If you're going by like one burst, the VSD1 probably has a bit more. But considering those are missiles that have a lot higher recharge rate, if you're going for like overall damage per second, it's probably less.
Unit destroyed.
Oh my god.
Unit destroyed. Unit destroyed. We secured a landing.
Alright. Just need to get time for all our other tanks to load. To land, rather.
Unit destroyed.
Order acknowledged. Heading out. Order acknowledged.
Come on.
Tank brigade ready.
Alright, we're gonna send... This is actually a really good map for the AT-AT.
Affirmative.
So we're probably gonna send that out first.
New coordinates. Order acknowledged. Ready. Deploying. Roger that.
This is scary.
Heading out.
Give some space for the AT-AT to pass. Nope, you're just... You want to die, clearly. That's why you went up there. Nope, no.
Let's go.
Get back here.
Copy. Reporting.
Alright,
Receiving orders.
send that up.
Activating. Yes, Commander. Over there.
Get out of its way, but don't get yourself killed.
Ready. Acknowledged. I'll copy. Keep going. AT-AT ready.
The Hapen auto-resolve values must just be really low, because it's not using the actual unit power for those calculations.
Reporting in.
Unit destroyed.
Attack. Reporting. Scanning target. Moving to fire. I've got them on scopes. Roger that.
Should have brought a specialist.
Moving to fire. Form up. On my way, sir.
Could have repaired our AT-AT.
As you wish.
Unit destroyed.
Awaiting your
Unit
order.
destroyed. Unit destroyed.
Open fire.
Unit destroyed.
Attack that target.
All of these units have had stat changes since I used them.
Fire at will. Walker moving out.
The game basically has one auto-resolve value for the unit. It has like auto-resolve health and some damage stat. But it's basically using one value for the ship, and then it's given a multiplier for the player, so you're always going to be at a disadvantage.
Support fire ready. Roger that. Copy. Moving out.
Alright.
We've secured a landing.
But the calculation itself is really weird, how it decides what actually lives or dies, because it's essentially one ball of stats versus another ball of stats. And then the deaths within that are... who knows? Okay, we've almost got... I'm going to wait until we have our orbital bombardment as well.
Setting course.
And then I'm going to send a LAT company in.
Setting course. Yes, Commander. Yes, Commander.
So one of the other things, I can't remember if I mentioned this, but we are working on the UI. So it'll be essentially what we're going for the Remnant, or for all the Imperial factions, including the Empire of the Hand, because unfortunately they do need to share an AI with pretty much everyone else, or a UI, is like a Star Destroyer bridge type thing. So it'll look more like a Star Destroyer bridge and command panel sort of thing. And for the New Republic, it's Mon Calamari, so it'll probably just be basically this, but white, because that actually does sort of match the Mon Calamari motif. We'll probably edit a bit more than that, but we'll see. I'm having some trouble getting it to look how I want it to look, but hopefully we'll be able to work that out for the demo. Alright, so
Ready. Squadron moving out.
we're going to try to take out at least turrets.
Copy. Landed proceeding. Fire at will.
Make it come over here. Make the tanks chase you.
Unit destroyed.
Enemies in range.
Alright, now we can go in. Doesn't really matter what order they go in. They're not going to face too much resistance at this point.
Unit destroyed.
Let's move out. Providing cover.
Unless, of course, the lats go over the side. Then it's a bit harder for us. I'm not sure why. Oh, it's probably just because of the infantry changes that they get stuck in here now.
Let's go.
There we go.
System conquered.
Alright, Borleas and Carda are ours.